This is a project that I want to show you how it works through it to manipulate type. I have a client who is opening fast food stores in gas stations on the freeway or around town or whatever. The 7-Eleven, the quick gas, the food market, whatever associated with the gas station. And he calls his little snack shops Quench Stop. So I'm going to take off of my round end type font that I made, the circular ended all cap letters. I'm going to take off Quench and STOP by just selecting on something, option key, and bringing it out. Don't ever take it away from the space there, or you're going to lose characters and it'll be hard to get them back. So always copy them. And I'm putting them out here on this side place, and then I'm going to select all of the characters. Now I took the bar here, the L, and I took this dot too, because I only use those in some of the work that I'm doing. So I Command C, I copy that, then I have another page that I'm going to put it to, and I hit Command V, and all those letters come in haphazard, as it were. They're kind of lined up, but not all that much. And so I brought those in, and I placed them. There's a center line, and I put two guidelines here, Quench, STOP, and I'm starting to put these little dots in places where they might show up as graphic helps, not exactly part of the lettering. I also took that L and I turned it until it was, let me go out of color, Command Y, until it was even with where the Q would bend and meet the U down here. I want to make the Q come around and keep going and actually run into the U here, and I'll show you how I'll cut that off in a minute. But this is a quick fix. I also brought that other E over, and I decided I like the squared off E rather than round E. But there was something on that E that hadn't been melted yet, that centerpiece. If I select that and then Command C, copy it, Command V, paste it on the same page, then I get a short bar. I've got the long bar and I got the short bar. But I took this bar here and I put it by where the Q is, and I took my rotate tool and I clicked it in the top part of that bar and grabbed the bottom part and swung it around until I got it to be the angle and matched this angle right here of that secondary bar. So I'm going to take that out because I've already got the one there. You also have to get very close and line these things up. I put a stop sign, a red octagon behind here, equidistant there, just a part of the stop sign look to this thing. I put a bar here that's taking the ST, the top of the T, all the way across to the O, and I put this short bar here to give the P a little bit of a kickback to fill in some of this space. Now I'm going to get closer and show you how I actually make these things. Now this is a rough punch. I'm going to go to I'll come back into color so you can see that. I'm going to go to the third page, and this is the one I'm actually going to make the changes on. I have to get things leveled, and I've done that by getting very close here. You can see that, and you can move this back and forth. You can see that I've got to work to get these things right level. This CH, the C, it needs to come down a little bit, and the H is a little high. And the STOP, let's take these guys, and well, let's see, at least the ST and the OP, let's see, that needs to come down just a fudge. Okay, and then I have to go back and clean these out, but let's do this now. I'm going to go out of color, Command Y, and here's the bar that I want to have come in here and stop and come around and form into that U. Now these are solid, and so what I can do is say, see where they touch here and where they touch there and there. That's where I'm going to make my cut using that Pathfinder tool. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a no stroke, no fill line, and I'm going to come right here where these two actually match. click, click. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and turn that off. I've got that little line that clicks right there and right there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Click and click through there. All right, now I'm going to select the G and the Q and the U and the bar between them and the little lines. So what I have here then, I don't have that stop sign, but I have the Q, the bar here, the U, and those cut lines. Now when I hold down the Command key and go up here to the Pathfinder, the divide key, everywhere that line was, it divided. Now get my straight arrow with the white arrow with the plus and select this portion right here that's outside of that. See, it straightens right out. And there's a little piece right here that's outside of, and that cuts right off right there. So what I've done is I've made the U meet the Q right here. Now if I go back to black, Command Y, and go back to color, you can see how that's filling in. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. Let's go back out of color, Command Y, and now what I want to do is select the original Q, and all of this U and this inner rim, they join together when I cut them. It's like hitting Command G and grouping them together. Now in Pathfinder, I'm going to melt all this into one figure, except for the part of the Q that's not attached, by uniting them. You see that came through, and it's all one shape here now. Don't disregard the line of the stop sign. That's behind it. So the Q and the U now are joined together with that bar between them and the sneeze for me. All right. There's a few things if I got really technical, I might go back and clean up just a few pixel things, but I'm not going to take the time now. When I go out of color, Command Y, it looks pretty clean. Now I have to continue. Let's Command negative, drop down a couple of notches here. I have to continue to look at my spacing between these letters. The E, I could probably come forward. I'm going to left arrow that just a touch. I don't want to get way close, but I want to get them a little tight. The C, now notice I put that dot in the C right even with the bar of the H. Okay, so there's quench and there's that. Now stop, I put this larger S with the dot in it, so it sort of resembles or touches or gets close to that that area right in there. And I'm liking that. I got the TOP, I've got that tucked into this where the S is. Maybe that's a little close. Let's right arrow that away a little bit. All right, now the T and the O, and let's go out of color, Command Y. I want this to be all one bar here. Now I've got to maneuver this piece here so it's right on the T and it touches the O. Now you see it's a little thicker there. There's another thing I'm going to do, and I want you to remember to change this when you're through. Under Illustrator, under Preferences, you can go to General, and in that General it tells you your keyboard increment. When you hit the arrow, it's going 0.014 of an inch. I'm going to put another 0 right there. It's going from 1/10 of an inch to 1/100th of an inch. When I OK, now you need to go back after you're through and take that 0 right there out. So there's only 1 0 and then the 14. When I do that, that allows me to select something, and then when I hit the up arrow, it doesn't take 1/10 of an inch. It takes a very short 1/100th of an inch. It's much easier doing this critical lining up and geometry that way. And see, I'm manipulating this. Okay, see that line right there? It's right on. It's so right on you can only tell it's one line. The same thing down here. Now there's a bulge here, but I'm going to cut that right there where it meets, and to do that I go to that invisible no stroke no fill line, and I come right through the top of this this O here, right there where it meets, and then I select the bar and the 0 and the cut line. Everything else doesn't matter because I'm only going to cut that piece of the bar off right there. So Command key down and the slice tool again. Bonk. And then I can come back in with my white arrow with a plus and take away that piece. Whoops, I don't take too many away. The little, I don't know why that's hanging down. It's supposed to be invisible. Let's take that off. And when I go to color again, or Command Y, whoops, I took too many things off there. Let's see, I'll put it back, Command Z. Maybe the better thing to do here is to select the T and the O and the P. I'm going to hold the Shift key down and unselect this little dot there. Okay, I've got all three of them there together. Now, if I go up and just unite them, well, that's not going to cut. The center's filling in. Let's do this. Let's unselect. Well, let's see. Let's get this done before we run out of time here. Down arrow touch there. That looks clean. That looks clean. This is not quite centered. Now, because it's clean in here, I can just get these guys together like this and virtually group them. Command G. There's a little spot hanging there I don't like. It's part of that invisible line. Let's see if I can get that, just that piece, and take it out. Okay. Now, I'm wondering if that piece is gone, whether I can unite these guys together without filling in the middle part. Let's see, unite. Yeah. That little piece that hung down there, that's what's called leftover, and that was actually filling in that white space. So now I've joined the T and the bar and the 0 together. And the P, I'm going to do the same thing too. I need to go out of color, Command Y, and get a hold of that bar. And see, it's a little thick right there. Let's go up a touch until it, there it is. See, it's pretty clean there. If I select both pieces and unite that, Command key and Option that, there I've got a solid P. That little piece sticking out there. Now, everything seems to be working okay. The gap between the S and the O is a little wide. Now here's a nice little trick. You can take the white arrow and select all the anchor points that are the bottom part of that T. That one and 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 that one. The rest are not going to move. If I hit my arrow, left arrow, and I have to move it a lot because remember it's only moving 1/100 of an inch, not 1/10 of an inch. I can virtually slide this across until the space here is about even. Now, when I come back and say Command Y, bring the color back, there's that. Now, I've got my stop sign back here, but I want to, I'm going to take it away for just a minute here. I want to put an outline to this quench stop. So, the outline is to take all of this, I'll back up just a touch so you can see this better. I'm going to take all the parts of this, and since I've got it there now, I'm going to group that. Command G. Now that's the original. It's not going to go anywhere. But I'm making a copy. Oops, I got to Command Z. I got to make sure my guides are locked. Let's see. Yep, guides aren't locked. Lock guides. Okay. Now I'm going to take all of these guys. I hope this will work. Well, you know what I did? I locked those up when they were, I'm going to unlock my guides and take them away. Whoa, they're locked together here. Command Shift G ungroups them. Now they're ungrouped. I got to lock my guides back up. See, the trouble you get with it is if you don't keep your guides in shape. Okay, they're locked. The guides are locked. Now I'm going to get my letters and group those. Command G. Now, not copy. There's the copy. Okay. Now the copy is going to be a black fill and a black stroke. And then I'm going to go to my stroke, hit my rounded elbows and rounded joints, and start increasing the size of the stroke. Now it's going to start filling in some places. You see here it's filling in the S, and the T is about to fill in, and you have to decide how big you need to have that. I want that Q thing not to get much smaller. If I go much bigger than that, the Q's filling in. So I'm going to go to 8 points here. The T is touching, or the CH are touching, and all that. I'm going to have a little bit of an overage there. Let's see if I go a little higher what happens. I don't know that I want to lose the Q and the C, so I'm going back to 8. I like that C, I like that Q, I like that happening there. All right, now the drill is here. I've got a stroke and a fill. I got to melt the stroke back into the fill. That's object, that's path, and that's outline stroke. And there's all the geometry showing the stroke and the inner and the outer. I need to melt all this together, so I go to the command key and the unite, or what I call the melt key, and it all becomes one group. Now the P is filled in with just the strength of the size. That's okay. I still have the white around the more important areas where it's going to be, and I have a black stroke. I'm going to take that stroke and change it to a low grade, like 40%. Then I'm going to put it in the background, Command Shift left bracket, because it has to go behind the original quench, and then bring it up and place it in place and equidistant around. And if you need to go with your arrow key to put it around, that looks to be fairly in place. Now my stop sign, put it in the back too, Command Shift left bracket, put it further back behind the gray and bring it up to sort of center it on the Q. About there. Okay, now I have the original lettering on the black layer. I've made the copy with the quench, and maybe I can just make a copy of the quench and pull it out here to show you what that looks like by itself. And I'll put it down a little further so it's a little more out of the way. But there it is, quench stop, and that's a version. It might not be the only version, but that's a version. I'm going to show the client to get him to say, yeah, that's what I want for my snack shops. So this going from the lettering and picking out the quench shop and a few other little marks here that I can use, and then going to the original assembly where I'm looking at what can I do, the bar there between and doing the TO and the P thing, and using marks and pieces of places to put it together. And then finally I'm getting them very level, I'm getting them work together, so if I go out of color you can see that these things are really joining well together, and these are joining well together. Go back to the color, Command Y, and put the background on it so that it has some separation between the foreground and the stop sign in the background. You can still maneuver the stop sign. I like the centering here. I see a little bit of red there. That's something I might want to say. Let's look at that. Let's put that red right down the middle of that U and see what that does for us. Well, it's a little bit better. I still have the same thing going on here. So I could fiddle with that just a little bit more, and I'm going to stop with this and showing you the manipulation of joining, of stretching. You know, I could take the H here and stretch it up so it's higher. Why would I do that? I'm not sure. I might take a look at that. What I'm talking about is this. I could take my white arrow and select this H. See, I select on the edge here and I get all the white empty anchor points. I could select that one and hold the shift key down on that one and this one, and then grab this middle one and just pull this up. Use the shift key as it comes up, just to take a look at that. Does that do anything for me? I'd have to realign the gray in the background, but does that do anything for me? Does that make a statement? Does that help balance the CH? I'd think about it, but I think not. I'm going to go back to the original and just go with that. And so manipulation is the using and altering and combining or changing letters so that whatever letter sequence you have, this QU obviously lent itself to that. Like playing cards, whatever hand you're dealt, you have to play that. And in this case, you get the manipulation to get this quench stop into such a form as it's one of 3 or 4 you might show your client. Do this on your own. Use quench stop or make your own word up. But make the words join together and make some stretches or pulls or whatever. and then put a background to it, and perhaps one other thing like this stop sign. complete the design of your words and your idea that you're putting together. And be sure that you go back to Illustrator, Preferences, General. And in the General, where those two zeros are, take one of them out, and you're back to 1/10 of an inch. Okay that, and then you won't, next time you come in to use Illustrator, say, why isn't my arrow moving? It goes slow. You do 1/100th of an inch when you're getting this close, this accurate. But for most cases, you want it 1/10 of an inch. So your project 12 is to watch this manipulating type and then make your version of it.